Okay, welcome everybody. Can you guys hear me? Hear me okay? All right, welcome to In Time Tech. Glad you guys came out. We have restrooms on the other side of this wall, and then sandwiches and cookies and drinks and everything. So enjoy. We're gonna kick things off. Let's introduce Bryan Klein. Welcome, come on in. Sandwiches over here, bathrooms over here. Bryan Klein is our senior UX UI designer, UX team manager here at In Time Tech. He started his career by helping small businesses establish their online presence after graduating with a bachelor's degree in business administration from our own Boise State. After consulting work, Bryan spent a decade building and leading creative teams in the nonprofit sector. He's now loving being back in the private sector, working with businesses and startups. He's currently based here in Meridian with his family, his wife, and 4 children. Bryan is passionate about designing user experiencing and solving. Bryan is passionate about designing user experiences and solving complex problems. In his free time, he enjoys the Oregon coast, Garden Valley, and traveling to places like Zambia and Israel. I haven't talked about Israel yet. I want to hear about that. All right, so let's turn it over to Bryan.
Everybody, thank you for joining us and taking time out of your day. Today, we are going to be discussing design thinking, something I'm really passionate about. And as you may or may not know, design is a team sport. So I'd like to introduce my presentation collaborators who are up here with me in the front, Johnny and Karina. Can we just give them some acknowledgement here? Woo! So I've got to work with both of them here at In Time Tech. Johnny's been a product designer for around the last 3 years, and he's got some pretty awesome experiences in products under his belt. We're designing a suite of products here at In Time Tech that target the ag space, and he's the lead designer for that product. Really awesome stuff he's creating there. And Karina actually jumped into In Time Tech as a developer, and then she bumped over onto our design team, and she's been with us for about a year. She's just been rapidly learning and contributing in the design space. So they'll be sharing the presentation with me today on design thinking. So the plan today is to overview design thinking, and then we will have an activity for y'all, and then we will dive a little deeper into each of the particular sections of design thinking. And then we'll have another activity and wrap up. So hopefully the time will kind of feel rapid and fast, but our goal is to leave you with some key mindset shifts that design thinking speaks to. So as you listen, really pay attention for those mindset shifts. That's where the power is in design thinking. So whether you're here as an entrepreneur or a designer or a developer, a business owner, really anything, we believe design thinking can be a powerful tool that can help you create innovative solutions to problems. It doesn't matter if you're looking at your own career or you're looking at developing a product. It really has application across everything. So be listening for how it applies to you today. So I'm going to jump in here. I had to wear the jacket because our marketing team put this sweet graphic together, so I didn't want to let you down. So double diamond process. The double diamond process is our methodology for going through design thinking. Now, there's a few different ways you can execute design thinking, but they all have the same underlying principles and practices associated with them. At In Time Tech, this is something we've been leveraging to create the products that we have been designing and developing for our customers. So there's a few things I want you to notice about this graphic here, but before we do, just want to answer the question, what is design thinking? Specifically, design thinking is really a mindset and a methodology for solving complex people problems. So whenever we think of a complex problem, I usually think of people. I think people are complex, and problems that don't involve people are usually pretty simple. But when you start adding people, and the more people you add, the more complex the problem gets. But there's a technical definition to a complex problem. And the best way I can describe that is through this analogy. A tame problem or a simple problem is like a puzzle. You go to the store, you buy a puzzle, you get a box that has 1,000 pieces in it. You have all of the pieces and parts you need to go about building that puzzle. A complex problem is the opposite of that. It's kind of like you buy the puzzle box, you open it up, there's maybe some lint in there, pen, paper clip, and some other random items. And you're like, okay, what even is this problem I'm solving right now? The nature of complex problems are you're not exactly sure what the problem is. You're not exactly sure what the win is until you get there. And you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what all the constraints are. So design thinking was created to target those types of problems. And we'll jump into some examples as we go through our talk today. Some of the design of this graphic is really intentional. We have 2 diamonds here. And this first diamond is really targeted around the problem space. It's understanding the problem more deeply and understanding the people that have the problem in a deep and empathetic way. And then we move to this second diamond, which is really about understanding and creating a solution to that problem. Something I want to highlight with this is the movement of the shapes. So in the first diamond, the initial phase here, the discover phase, you'll notice we're moving outward, and that's very intentional. It's in the discover phase, we are basically generating a lot of information, doing a lot of research, and trying to understand all about our users and our customers and the world that they live in, the problems they have. And then the define phase, we begin to converge. It's where we prioritize those problems and we clearly define what those problems are, only to come back into the solution space and repeat that process. In design thinking, we separate generating or creating from editing and deciding. And that's a really key thing to catch. It's just a practice that will help you be successful in whatever you do, is separating those 2 things into 2 different spaces. Additionally, this looks sequential, and it's intended to be sequential in some respects, but the way it actually works out is it's all over the place. You'll kind of start with a solution sometimes, but then you realize, oh, I don't know very much about the problem. So I need to go all the way back to the beginning. And there's a lot of bouncing around. That's by design. However, it is best to go back to discover, make sure you define, make sure you have those ideas for development generated, as well as iterating in that deliver phase. So that's a brief overview of design thinking. We're going to dig a little deeper in a moment, but before we do, we have an activity to get your brains moving. So I'm going to welcome Karina up as she gets us into our activity for the day.
Thank you, Brian. Switch your spots here. All right, I'm super excited. This is one of my favorite activities to do. So it's going to be the marshmallow challenge. So we're going to split everybody up into groups of 2s. Maybe we might have a group of 3. I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah. So we'll just go ahead and pick partners, get familiar with everybody around you, and then you'll want to take one of these bags per team. So each of these bags has 20 spaghetti noodles, 1 marshmallow, and some masking tape. And what our goal is today is we're going to try to build a freestanding structure with the marshmallow on top. So we'll have 10 minutes to do this, and whoever can build the tallest tower gets bragging rights or something. We don't have any prizes today, but marshmallows, yeah. Does anybody have any questions on that? Yeah. So the goal is to just build the tallest tower you can freestanding. We've had people try to tape it up to a wall or something like that, but none of that. Just on the table, freestanding as tall as possible, and the marshmallow has to be on top using the spaghetti noodles, masking tape, and mellow. Yeah. So 10 minutes. So does everybody have their groups? Okay. Oh, they have a bag. Okay, sweet. Okay, so we'll start the timer. I think we're starting the timer now, right? Yeah, it started. Okay. Timer has started.
Just the tape?
Yeah.
You were, yeah. Like your new website. Yeah. Yeah. Dude, it's I know. Excited. Nope, you're the only brave ones who did. Let everyone know they can use the stringers.
Okay, because they've been using it. So bad.
People might be excited to have the addition of string.
Okay, so just a quick update. I tied the noodles together with a piece of string as well. So if you do want to use that in any way, you can explore that as well. So.
Left. 8 minutes. 8 minutes left. Got lots of time. Eiffel Tower. We're expecting big things here.
Oh, yay!
You get to do it today. Now you got to be a part of the experience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Zoom. That's how the girls get the cute Instagram photos. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You look away and you pretend like you're laughing.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
Okay, we got about 6 minutes left.
Staring at you the whole time.
Right.
Oh yeah.
The best noodle.
Noodle architecture. That's ChatGPT working.
Together.
Yeah, that's what we're trying. We have to go this. What's that tape them together? Ooh.
It's not real cool. So quiet.
We go in there to scream. No. Yeah, I like your idea.
Okay, we got a few towers standing. We got 4 minutes left.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we got 2 minutes left. Yeah, marshmallow at the very top of the tower. Oh, man.
Is it ITC branded?
Trying to get rid of our old logo stuff right now. And also trying to put in the order. Not jealous of that. Not that I need it, because like I can't live about. So like if I worked in a place, like, you know, a lot of people need to have a place to take a picture.
Yeah. Alrighty, 30 seconds left. Ten seconds. No pressure. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Nice. Awesome. Okay, we've got some towers off the ground table ground. Okay. Hopefully you guys had fun with that challenge. All right, guys, thank you for participating in that. I'm going to go ahead and pass it back over to Bryan.
All right, you can snap a picture of your structure if you want, and then I could get your attention up here. So we're going to jump into our first phase of design thinking, and I know in a little bit, like, you'll understand why we had you do this activity, and it'll all come together and make sense. But I hope you enjoyed it anyway. It's kind of a fun way to just connect with people and solve a problem. So the design thinking process starts with the discover phase. And as I mentioned before, this is the place where we're gathering a lot of information. We're really getting into the world of the problem and the world of our customers or our users. The key thing here is empathy. So we're trying to actually get into their experience, into their mindset, walk a mile in their shoes, so to speak. And the first mindset shift comes in this phase. It's really moving from giving the world what we think they want to giving the world what they actually want. And it's a lot easier said than done. So it requires a lot of an individual or a business or a group of people to actually get into the world of someone else. Why this is important is 70% of products and services fail due to the lack of user adoption. So we're talking about the products and services that actually make it beyond the project execution point, right? That's already its own thing. We're spending a lot of time, energy, money, resources only to launch 7 out of 10 products that actually don't gain traction, that aren't profitable, that people don't actually adopt. So what if there's a way we could actually avoid that? What if we could flip that around so it's only 3 out of 10 or even less? And the key idea here is this is where we enter into that space of, I just ruined something. Pretend like you didn't see that. We enter the space of our user. So, okay, let's do it. We'll do it again in a second. So oftentimes as a business, we do what's called inside out thinking. It's where we have our set of assumptions about our users or our customers, and we basically project those onto the world around us. We think, I've got this great solution, and it's all inside the walls of the company. Well, what sets great products and great companies apart is they do outside in thinking. That's where they actually get out into the world and then bring that learning and that understanding back into the walls of the business and then begin to create and develop from that place. So I want to share with you a case study that illustrates the scenario. So we're going to go all the way back to late December 2001. This particular new tech company was at its all-time highest energy and excitement. The energy around every meeting and press release was palpable. Venture capitalist John Doerr said, he's one of the world's richest investors. He predicted this company would be the fastest company to reach $1 billion in sales. The company anticipated selling 100,000 units within their first 13 months. And they said this technology will, quote, be to the car what the car was to the horse and buggy. Any guesses on what that company was? I just showed it. Go for it. Segway. It is Segway. So let's go back. We'll come back here so you guys can enjoy. Ooh, yes. Yeah. So Segway. So how bad did Segway flop? By 2007, they had only sold 30,000 units. They had one total recall due to a major software glitch that caused users to accidentally reverse. And the founder died actually on a Segway, which is a very interesting anecdote. So what happened to this company is they gave the world what they thought the world wanted, and they spent a ton of money doing that. If they would have taken some type of lightweight prototype that they could have just thrown together and actually tested it with real world users in their real environment to learn about their real problems, they would have found, first off, people didn't want to pay the price point that they needed for the Segway to make sense. People weren't used to that particular technology, so it was going to be an uphill adoption. But people had other ways of solving their problem already that they were much more used to and infrastructure supported, like cars for longer distance traveling and bicycles and scooters and you name it, all these other methods that have wheels that actually fit better on a sidewalk than a Segway does. And so they totally missed the needs of the user because they didn't actually spend time in their world understanding what was going on with them. So oftentimes when we're creating products and services, the common business approach is we start with our feelings and our assumptions, And from there, we just jump in headlong to a solution, our developed product or service. And then we launch it into the world. And as we do that, we start to realize and identify, oh, this is the problem that this is addressing. It's not what I thought it was. And from there, then we back into, oh, these are who our real users and customers are. So to be successful, you really need to flip this around. And this is just another way of viewing the design thinking process. It's where we actually start with identifying our customers, their needs, their motivations, and then we identify the specific problem that we want to focus in on and solve. And from there, we generate a wide range of solutions, prioritizing those solutions based on the effort and reward matrix. And then after that, we launch our product, but not assuming it's finished. It needs to be tested and iterated upon and optimized. So how do we go about this? How can we launch into this? Well, a practical tool I want to leave you with today is what we would call persona. So a persona is what you see in front of you here. It's basically a bunch of demographic and psychographic and behavior for a particular customer or user group. Now, the power in this tool is that it's based on real research, first off, real firsthand information of being with your clients or your customers. But really, the way this is used on teams or in creating products is whether you're with your developers, your designers, your manufacturers, the question always becomes, so what would Bridget say about X? What would Bridget do with whatever we're creating? How would Bridget approach this? And you have this as a tool that aligns everybody. So we're all on the same page, and it humanizes the solution, the problem that we are up against. So we're thinking about a particular person, and that just completely changes the way we solve something, because now we're thinking about like, oh, this is Bridget's world, and how this is what she's facing every day, day in and day out. So how do we get a persona? How do we jump into this space? Well, personas are based on what we call field research and or a field study. And it's where you actually have to go out of your office and you go sit down with the Bridgets, right? You sit down, you even could follow them, do a day in the life, or you have them do a diary study where they journal about what they're doing. And it's best if you're honing in, obviously, on the problem area you're trying to solve, but you get into their world and you observe what they're doing. The distinction to make here is this is not the same as market research. Market research is concerned with moods and feelings and opinions. Field research or field studies care about behaviors. The saying goes, you can't trust what somebody says they do or tell you they would do. You can trust what they actually do. And so we're going out collecting that information of what people actually do. In the case of Segway, we would observe that people probably actually would not hop on a Segway to go down to the park. It's just the apparatus doesn't make any sense when they have a bike or a scooter that they're used to, or just walking. So we get out, we gather data. We take that data. Oftentimes we're recording videos, or we have just a voice recording, and we go through and we actually tag and pull out snippets of things that are significant. And then we cluster those things by theme. And from there, those themes become key insights for us in understanding the world and the problems of our users. And that's what we build our persona from. So if we could just jump into the world of our users first and shift from giving them what we think they want to what they actually want, the likelihood of our product being successful in the marketplace exponentially increases. The bottom line to take away from this section is we got to spend time with real customers in real environments, gathering insights about real behaviors. And this lays the foundation for our next section, which is the define section. In this space, the define space, we are really defining the problems that we're addressing. And the shift here is we want to move away from falling in love with the solution to falling in love with the problem. It's super easy to have this great idea and think that everybody else is going to think it's great, only to find out like, it's not, people didn't think it was as great as I did. And then we have nowhere to go from there. But if you can identify a problem, that's compelling. It's going to keep you in the game. no matter if the chat GPTs are coming in to disrupt, you're going to adapt and you're going to figure out, oh, how does this fit into the new solution now? So being problem oriented versus solution oriented will allow us to adapt to the changes in the marketplace and still be relevant. Yuri Levine, he's the co-founder of Waze, wrote a book about this, and one of the quotes is, when you're in love with the problem is going to serve as your north star of your journey. And Yuri found this out when he was creating Waze. They had created this mobile app that helped users map out their journey. And as they spent time in the problem space and spent time with users, they found out people were using Waze to go to their day in and day out destination. And that was really intriguing for them. They're like, well, what if we're not mapping things for them, what problem are we actually solving? And they realized they were solving the problem of time, that people wanted to know the best route to get to their normal day-in-day activities based on real user feedback of what's happening with traffic patterns, road construction, wrecks, all those things. And so they were able to pivot into a product that became valued over $1 billion. And he's one of the few people who's created multiple businesses to be valued over $1 billion. So he probably knows a little bit about what he's talking about. So we're going to jump in and take a look at how do we move from empathy, which is where we started, to this place of, and my PowerPoint is lagging here, to this place of insight. So we're leveraging empathy from our users, and then we're creating insights around the problem space. And we're going to use a real world problem that's happening right now. So as many people know, access to clean water is a huge worldwide issue still. UN estimates on average, people are walking 4 miles a day to get to clean water or get to a water source. Approximately 40 billion man hours are spent getting water every year. And the most tragic stat is around 4,000 kids are dying daily due to lack of access to clean water or waterborne illnesses. So what I want you to do is take the pen and sticky note in front of you, and I'm going to give you 2 minutes to just brainstorm what are some possible solutions to this problem. I know we're talking about the problem right now. I want you to solution on purpose though, so we can go a little deeper in exploring the problem itself. So right now we're going to set 2 minutes on the timer. Brainstorm as many ideas as you can to solve the problem of a lack of access to clean water. Ready, go. You got about a minute left. We're at 10 seconds. All right, finish writing down your last idea and let's come back together. So any winning ideas? What are some ideas that stood out? What did you guys come up with? Go ahead, just share. Shout it out. Canals and pumps. Awesome. Okay. Migration urban areas, building out infrastructure for people to gain access. What else do we have? Yep. Mobile filtration systems. Yep. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yep. Lots of good ideas. Bicycles. Man, that's such a key thing in these places. Bikes, it's huge. Drilling wells. Yeah. So as we look at solutions here, which is kind of jumping ahead, but talking about the solution helps us think more deeply about the problem. And some of the problems we face here are wells cost $8,000 to $12,000 US dollars in these places that are in total poverty. So super expensive. It would cost about $35 billion to build out the infrastructure for Africa to bring clean water to all the areas that need it. So there's this huge cost factor associated with solving this problem too, which is why it's still a persisting issue. So there are other people who have put their heads together on this particular challenge. And Google and Specialized and IDEO. IDEO is one of the premier design organizations in the world, practitioners of design thinking. They came together and they said, how can we solve this problem? And this is one of the ways we write problem statements here at In Time Tec. Is common for the industry. It's called a point of view statement. And the point of view statement they likely would have been working with would have been something like, as a person living in a rural, impoverished area, how can I efficiently gain access to clean drinking water so that I can be healthy and I can reduce the effort required to access a necessity? And here's what they came up with. It is called the, oh, I'm missing my bicycle. There it is. It is called the aqueduct bike. It solves a number of problems. Obviously, we're more efficient with our time. We're not walking. We can carry more without the strain. But the really cool thing about this bike is there is a filtration system built into the frame of the bike. So as the user of the bike pedals, it's filtering the water. So by the time they get back to their village, they have clean drinking water to share with their family and use. So this solution is really elegant and awesome. There's so many great things about it. But digging deeper again into the problem, we want to be thinking about who are all the personas we're serving. And does this actually get us all the way to where we need to be? Or what can we do to better tailor this for other people? And so just real quick, anyone who wants to share out, what could we do to make this better for a mom and their child who needs to get access to water? There you go. Yeah, that would be amazing. Any other ideas? Let's go to the next user. What about somebody, an amputee, or somebody who's missing an arm or a leg or has some type of handicap in that way? How could this be improved to help them? Yeah. Or maybe there's some pedaling mechanism with hands for people with leg challenges. There's different approaches we could take. What about for a kid? What might they struggle with this particular solution? Too heavy, reaching the pedals. Yep. Again, some modifications or things to be thought about. What about somebody who's a little older? Everyone needs a bigger seat on a bike. Come on, can I have an amen on that? Power assist, yeah. Yeah, we just need Uber Eats. Is that what we're saying? Yeah. Yeah. So the idea here is really going deep, spending time with the problem and not rushing to get to that solution, and thinking about the challenges that all of our personas could be facing. Really spending that time to look at those pieces of empathy that we gained and sitting down with those people and saying, okay, how does this particular solution work out? Or what are the exact problems they're facing? And as we do that, we kind of come to this understanding that I don't know if you heard this before. This is such a great saying, something to capture right down. People don't go to Home Depot to buy a 1/4-inch drill, right? They go to Home Depot to buy a 1/4-inch hole. That's the deal. Is if there was another way to make that hole that was easier, more elegant for them, they would go use that. So we're here. Our businesses are employing products and services to solve someone's problem. That's what they're paying us to do, is to solve a problem. They could care less about the means to the end. And so with that said, we're going to jump over to the next diamond. I'm going to invite Johnny to come up, and he's going to share about the develop phase. Thank you.
All righty. So just like Bryan said, now that we've done the discovery work and fallen in love with the problem that we're trying to solve, it's time to gather as many potential solutions as possible. The mind shift that we're going to cover right now is shifting from getting that one perfect idea to getting as many ideas as possible. Yes. All right. So now, like I said before, we've done the discovery work. We've researched the problem. We've fallen in love with it. So now we're going to ideate and explore different concepts based upon the requirements and the refined scope that we came up with in that first diamond of discovering and empathizing. Now it's time to brainstorm, time to ideate, time to develop. Just like the diamond, it's very intentional in its shape. We're diverging, we're going wide in our concepts and our explorations, coming up with many different ideas to solve the problem. So we should be going really wide in this phase. Try not to constrain yourself too much during this divergent part. And we're not just considering the visual and the user flow of our experience and solutions, but also the information architecture, the hierarchy, and how different parts of the experience will relate and harmonize together. All right, so why go for quantity, as many ideas as possible, over quality, or rather that one perfect, groundbreaking idea? Well, we'll share a story to illustrate. So, on the first day of class, a professor at the University of Florida divided his film photography students into 2 groups. Everyone on the left side of the classroom would be in the quantity group, meaning they would be graded solely on the amount of work that they produced. And on the final day of class, the professor would tally the number of photos submitted by each student. 100 photos would rate an A, 90 photos a B, 80 photos a C, and so on. Meanwhile, everyone on the right side of the classroom would be in the quality group, meaning they would be graded only on the excellence of their work. They would need to produce just 1 photo during the semester, but in order to get an A, it had to be a near perfect image. So I'm asking you guys now, what group do you think produced the objectively best quality photos? The quantity group or the quality group? Quantity? I mean, spoiler alert. But yeah, at the end of the term, the teacher was surprised to find that all of the objectively best photos were produced by the quantity group. How is this? During the semester, the quantity group students were busy taking photos, experimenting with composition and lighting, and testing out methods in the darkroom and learning from their mistakes. In the process of creating and taking hundreds of photos, they honed their skills and perfected their craft. Meanwhile, the quality group sat around speculating about perfection, having little to show for their efforts other than unverified theories and 1 mediocre photo. Another story. Steve Jobs was known for his ability to think creatively and come up with innovative ideas. He believed that the key to success was to generate a lot of ideas, even if most of them were bad, and then choose the best one to pursue. When Jobs and his team were developing the first iPod, they brainstormed many different ideas for the device. They considered different shapes, sizes, colors, and features. And one idea that stood out was a scroll wheel that would allow users to easily navigate through their music library. Even after selecting the scroll wheel idea, Jobs and his team continued to iterate and refine the design. They experimented with different materials, colors, and button placements until they found the perfect combination. This attention to detail and relentless pursuit of excellence is one of the reasons why Apple products are known for their high quality and user-friendly design. Jobs' approach of generating many ideas and selecting the best one was a key factor in his success. It allowed him and his team to innovate and create products that were both useful and beautiful. So why share these stories? When we're generating potential solutions to the problem we're facing, it's best to go for quantity or have that quantity mindset. All right. So some other points here. When you generate a lot of ideas, you increase your chances of finding a good one. You're more likely to stumble upon a unique or valuable solution if you have a wide range of ideas to choose from. Going for quantity also encourages creativity. As you're pushed to generate a lot of ideas, you're encouraged to think outside of the box and explore new possibilities. This can lead to more creative and innovative solutions than if you had only considered a few ideas. Generating a lot of ideas can also encourage team members to build off of each other's ideas and work together to create something great. And when you create a lot of ideas, you're less likely to feel like you need to come up with the perfect solution right away. Instead, focus on generating as many ideas as possible and then refine them and iterate on them until you find the best one. So we know that we want to go for quantity over quality, but exactly how many ideas does it take to get to a great idea? Shout out, please. What do you think? 1? 10? Enough? Just the right amount? The next idea? 77 7 times 7 ideas? Well, let's find out. 2,000. According to design consultancy IDEO, it takes 2,000 ideas to get to a great idea. So how do we come up with 2,000 ideas? How do we get there? I'll show you guys a few of the ways that we do it here at In Time Tec. So before anything else, we turn off the judging part of our brain. The part of our brain that says, oh, this is impossible, it's too weird, this solution won't work, the constraints, the budget, whatever. We try and silence that part of our brain because it inhibits the creative part. And we're more likely to come up with more solutions when we defer judgment. And that is point number 1. Generating lots of ideas requires a judgment-free zone. Make sure that you help everyone feel like they can say the ideas on their mind and allow others to build on them. Number 2, encourage wild ideas. In brainstorming sessions, we'll often do like the crazier the better. And build on the ideas of others is point number 3. Much of the value in any new idea lies in the additional ideas it can spark in your teammates. Number 4, stay focused on the topic. Number 5, one conversation at a time. Number 6, be visual. Use a whiteboard and markers, Post-its, and then put them on a wall. And number 7, as always, go for quantity. And after we've established the turning off our judgment side of the brain and following these rules, we then lift a page from the Sprint book in Google Ventures and do something called Alone Together Brainstorming. And I'd love to do that with you guys right here. So how many of you have either moved or like relocated, moved houses, or have helped someone move before by raise of hands? Great. Who knows how much of a pain it can be? Perfect. Okay, great. So for our brainstorm activity right now, I want you guys to think of potential solutions to the moving problem, ways that you can smooth the process or improve the process, whether it be a service or an app, by yourselves. So this process is called Alone Together. So alone by yourself, take 3 minutes and write down some ideas on your sticky notes. Write down as many ideas as you can. You have 3 minutes. Ready, set, go. Yes. Lots and lots of ideas. The crazier, the better. Yes, anything to improve or ease the moving process. Make sure to do 1 idea per sticky notes. And if you hit a block, think of what the worst possible idea could be, and then flip it to improve. And it can be any part of the moving process, the packing, the planning, the driving, the shipping, any part of it. Just generate as many ideas as you can. Don't be afraid to go crazy or something weird. One minute remaining. All right, you got about 10 seconds left. Finish writing down that last idea. All right, time's up. Ooh, nice. Wow. All right. Thanks everyone for doing that. We're just going to come together real quick now. So now for the next 2 minutes, get back in your teams that you had with the building challenge and share ideas with your team and think of ways you can collaborate and build off of each other, combining ideas and share ideas with your teammates. On your mark, get set, go. This is the together part of the brainstorm. We first worked alone and now we're together. All right, about one more minute. 1 minute to share ideas with your team. All right, 10 seconds. 10 seconds to share ideas with your team. Start wrapping it up. All right, let's come back together for a sec. Thanks everyone for doing that. Okay, and the last thing we'll do here is we'll spend 1 minute generating new ideas, building off of the ones shared to you by your teammates. So feel free and go ahead and do that right now. 1 more minute. All right, we're at time. Thanks everyone for doing that. Okay, so all right, let's come back together. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so honestly, we're not going to use your ideas. We're not outsourcing our work here, but I'm genuinely curious. Who's got some ideas that they want to share? Ooh, that's a pain. I love it. That's so cool. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? Yes. Minute details. Love it. Sweet. Okay, love it. Anyone else? Ooh. Ooh, okay. A little bit of gamification, leaderboard, streaks. Okay, very cool. Oh, that can be such a headache. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Drones and rubber furniture. Nice. All right. Yeah. Excellent. I am so happy and so proud of all of these. Are some awesome ideas, maybe a little bit crazy too, but this is what we're going for. You know, the mindset, shifting our mindsets to finding that one perfect idea, but rather adopting the mindset of, hey, we're here to generate a lot of ideas and then iterate. It's an important part of the creative process. It allows us to explore new possibilities, collaborate with others, and increases our chances of finding an idea that'll stick. So thank you very much. That is the the brainstorming and finding new ideas mindset. And coming up next with our next mindset is Karina. So please welcome her to the podium.
All right. Thank you, Johnny. Okay, so going into the next mindset shift is going to be, let me make sure I'm on track with my PowerPoint here, but moving from perfection to iteration. Oh, there's me. So something I've learned with design thinking is to become an optimist rather than a perfectionist. So perfectionists look to see how far they have to go, and optimists look to see how far they've come. Perfectionists say no but, and optimists use yes and statements. Perfectionists are terrified of making mistakes, and for optimists, it's just proof that they are trying and making progress. So from perfection to iteration, what is iteration? Iteration is the repeatable process of improving a product in relatively short but regular bursts. So iteration also inspires confidence and acceptance during the possibility of failure. And it's better to fail fast and know in the near term whether or not you're on the right track than to fail slowly and come to that realization much later on, kind of like how Segway did. I love that. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to get back into our groups and do a second round of the marshmallow challenge. So from what we've learned so far, marshmallows. So what we've learned so far with design thinking, I'd like you guys to just keep in mind, there it is, some of the design thinking approaches, which understanding the problem. So what failed last time? What are the unique challenges that you guys ran into? And then also brainstorm some ideas. So what are a few different approaches you can quickly identify and start? So remembering quantity over quality with the ideas. just take a couple minutes to do that. And then also start with the marshmallow. So start building and iterating and have different people try different options to keep and switch to what is working. So we have another bag with, let's see, I think if we want, yeah, you just use the same tape and then we'll get you some more noodles and another marshmallow. And this time around, we do have a prize. So the tallest standing structure will get let's see, a water bottle. So Idaho Technology Council water bottle. And this time around, you're going to have 8 minutes. Okay, so I think we can get started. Ready, set, go. No, I think Bryan does. Eight minutes. Don't forget to get the tallest tower. You want to get this Idaho Technology Council water bottle.
You have 6 minutes. You have 4 minutes left.
Ooh. Tallest and then second tallest.
Oh.
Yeah.
The bag, whose hand? Then it's okay. Yeah. So here's what happened. Somebody ate home. Yeah. My dog ate it. Yeah.
That's what they're fighting for.
Oh, I think these are different, yeah.
Got a minute left. Yeah.
I need that. I think it's them.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Marshmallow stabilized.
Get your mellows. Whoa. Uh-oh. Time is up. Okay, who do we? Let's see. I can't see the one in the back. Oh, how tall is that one? Oh, wow.
Yes. Way too much tape. They can't really get out.
All right. Congratulations, guys. I want to show the camera, but I can't. Oh, she's taking a picture. Okay. Wow. Taller than the table? Awesome. All right. If we could come back together real quick. I know we got about 4 minutes left. So I just have a little bit more to share with you guys. Okay, so this challenge has been done hundreds of times, and the results are actually, they're pretty intriguing. So let's see. So who performs poorly? Oh, there's our challenge there. Oh, wow, I skipped a lot. Okay, So who performs poorly? Usually it's business school graduates. Okay. Why? Because they cheat and get distracted. They try to find that single perfect plan and then attempt to execute on that. They run out of time, and when they put the marshmallow on top, it's a crisis. That may sound familiar to some of you guys. So who performs well? Typically kindergarten kids do. First of all, none of the kids spend any time trying to become CEO of Spaghetti Inc. And more importantly, they start with the marshmallow and then build successive prototypes, all the time keeping the marshmallow on top until they find a solution that works. So kindergarten kids prototype and refine. They adopt an iterative and collaborative process and get instant feedback on what does and doesn't work. We all want to avoid that uh-oh moment when the marshmallow causes the entire tower to collapse. So the Marshmallow Challenge teaches us that prototyping and iterating can help achieve success. It also shows that success is dependent upon close collaboration of team members. We can learn from our kindergarten colleagues. By getting started and focusing on an iterative process, we can implement what works and quickly throw out what doesn't work. The lesson learned from all this fun is transitioning from a perfectionist mindset to an iterative mindset is essential to success. Thank you, guys. I'll pass it back over to Bryan.
Yeah, let's just acknowledge. So in conclusion, today we've shared some of the mindsets from design thinking, some of the methodologies and how they can be a powerful approach to problem solving. If you want more resources or a deeper dive on some of these things, we're available. You just reach out to Paula, and we would love to get together with smaller groups and just do a deeper dive on any of these sections or answer any questions you might have. Even stick around after today, and we'd love to chat and hear some of the insights that you gained. If you reach out to her, though, we have tons of resources. We can just shoot you an email and let you go dig on your own if you would like to do that. So again, I just want to give a big thank you to Idaho Technology Council, In Time Tech, and everybody who helped make this possible today. Can we just acknowledge with some applause real quick? Have a great afternoon, everyone. Feel free to stick around and chat if you have time to do that. Thanks. I guess there's extra sandwiches too if you need one for the road. Thank you.